Hey there, Wargamers, Justin our Paint here, and today we're going to talk about some Battletech. I'd like to welcome you guys back to the channel. For today, I've got my minis out from a previous video that I had just filmed, and I want to talk about another topic that I think is worth bringing up, and that is what do you get out of wargaming with someone? And specifically, I had a conversation at Nova this past August with one of the guys from the Battle Mallet podcast. Man, I'll get that out eventually. And he is friends with a friend of mine, and we were having a conversation about the wargaming world right now. And he said something to me that resonated. He's gotten out of 40K and he is playing Marvel Crisis Protocol. He is playing Warhammer Underworlds, but not playing 40K anymore. And he was describing playing Marvel, I think it was Marvel Crisis Protocol with someone, and he was describing some things he was doing with one of his units, and he looked up, assuming he had his opponent's attention, and he realized that his opponent wasn't paying any attention. They were hyper-focused on what they were getting ready to do with their turn, which there's nothing inherently, I guess, wrong with that. But the thing that he got from that situation was that now he had to shift how he's playing the game. He still played and did whatever, as normal, obviously. But he said, Justin, I realized that for a lot of players, they are playing against you, against me. And he's like, that's not what I find fun in wargaming. He's like, I do not want to play against you. I want to play a game with you. And there just happens to be a winner that will be determined at the end of that game. But that resonated. I'm not trying to play against you. I want to play with you. And it got me thinking. I think a lot of people forget that there is another person on the other side of the table, right? So I think that this plays well off of my previous topic where I was talking about units that resonate with me and why I pick them. And it's not necessarily just because of stats. It's because there's something I like about these. There is a story and narrative that could be forged with them. And beyond the minis, trying to sit down to play with your opponent and be that player you would want to play against. Someone needs help, they need to learn. You extend that hand, you offer the assistance, you talk with them, you engage, because it is a social contract. For you to be able to roll dice and blow up tiny toy soldiers or have mech mayhem here, that other person has to agree to sit down and play with you, right? If they aren't playing with you, then you have nothing to do with these minis beyond paint them and collect them. And that only goes so far. It's the trifecta of build. Well, actually, it's more than trifecta. You build, you paint, you collect, you play, right? And hopefully you have some great social interaction with that because there's another human being there. And I think that some people forget that when they're playing, they get so focused on the win, they forget that that person's over there. They forget that, shit, I should be having fun. I hope that other person's having fun. If I'm dumpster dunking that person so bad, if my attitude is so bad, if I am so arrogant or over the top with my antics, is that person having fun? And if they aren't having fun, what happens if they don't come back to another tournament? What happens if they don't come to the store? What happens if I'm a player people don't want to play with? And I think you start to see a shift in tournament players going one way and casual players going the other. And I feel like there used to be a time where we could meet in the middle and we had fun, but it's become so polarized, right? And this is not always true. Your local metas may be different. This is the things that I have witnessed and the things that, the conversation I was having at Nova was talking about. And I think it's worth bringing that up to pose that question to you guys. When you play with someone, do you actively think about your demeanor, what you're saying, your body language? Because I have to. Sometimes it's hard. Sometimes dice rolls aren't going my way, and I know on my face I look frustrated. But one of the other guys from Battle Mallet podcast, my buddy Jason, he said to me once, he's like, when your opponent does well, cheer for them, be excited for them. And that is hard. It's very hard. But he told me, he said, Justin, that person that is having that good dice roll, that got that critical effect on your mech, he's like, that person may have never won a game before. And if you are being salty and upset about it and you're bringing the mood down, now they feel bad and they shouldn't feel bad They should be rejoicing in having done a good thing. You are doing them a disservice with your behavior. And I was like, that's an interesting philosophy. Now specifically, we weren't playing together and him like calling me out. It was just the example of what he was talking about. But that's hard. That is very hard. That's difficult for me because I get so serious into it. You think about it and you start focusing on the mechanics and what you want to do. That sometimes that you do forget that. And one of the things that happened recently, I was at KarinskyCon, right? And wild shit was happening in these classic games. And a handful of people were frustrated. You could tell they were the ones that had that attitude of like, I didn't do good, so they exit the situation, or I'm doing really well, so they're a little obnoxious, right? But the majority of players who were there, when something wild happened, no matter whose side it was, they were cheering and they were losing their minds in excitement. Like, I remember the scenario I had when my Shadowhawk was fighting an archer. Like, we were like basically point blank. I have one leg, I'm hopping around. The archer's all beat up. I'm knocked over. I got knocked over and went unconscious 3 times. And I'm hopping over to fight this guy when I woke up. And then he gets knocked over and he stands up and, there's almost head hits and all this stuff happening. And Randall Bills is in the background. He's just cheering. He's so freaking pumped. It didn't matter who was winning. He was just excited about the craziness. The player I was playing with, I was bantering with, and we were having a good time. And I forgot for a moment that it was even a game with a winner. It was just like, I'm sharing an experience with people that I may never share again. I may never meet them again. Did I leave a lasting impression on them? Did they have fun? In their headcanon, their narrative is Justin, the pilot of this Shadowhawk. Did he go down swinging? Did he leave an impression where he goes, yo, is he going to tell his friends, right? Is he going to regale them with a story? Whether he remembers my name or not, am I living on through his story? Is he living on through my story right now? We forged a connection that for as long as I live, if I'm telling this story, a little piece of that person is living on, right? And that is epic. That is beyond a win or a loss in a game. Like, we had something more than the minis and the rules and the dice rolls. We had a fun experience. And that's difficult to get in the mindset of. Like, don't just play to win, play to have fun. It's the journey. But I encourage you guys to consider that. One of the things that my boss does when I play with him, it's rare that Austin plays war games, but when he does, it doesn't matter what's going on. He's cheering over the wildest stuff because it's the ludicrousness of what's happening that is fun for him. He's like, he doesn't care as much about the win or the loss. It's the journey there. And I think that the tournament scene strips away a lot of the narrative, a lot of the reason for painting, because it's the points that matter. It's the effective units that matter. It's the max min that matters. It's the mission that matters. You matter. I matter. Our stories matter. And if we can have tournaments and scenarios that also take that into consideration, if we shift our views on what it is to be a competitive player, what it is to be a good gamer, what it is to be a good human being in this community, I think we could do some good. And I think it's important to bring that up because people forget that. I sometimes forget that. And these minis here got me thinking about it because, when I put Call Sign Dumpster Fire on the table, it's not because he's great. It's because of the story. And perhaps he will do great things. But who knows? But it's not because he's the best mini. It's not because of the best rules. It's because I like this one. And I hopefully can forge a fun list with these minis that I like. And not only play stuff that is to win. One of the stories that I often tell that is a good example of why this is something I consider an issue is last year at a tournament I was at, there was an individual there who was very versed in the game who was talking about how broken and busted his list was. Yet, he played it anyway. He said it shouldn't have been allowed, but it was allowed, and he played it anyway. He was one of the only people there who was playing the units he was playing that was max minned to that level, and was bragging about it. And it's like, that's not cool, dude. Like, I get if you're excited and proud of your list, but if no one had fun playing with you, was it worth it? You know what I mean? And that's the thing. Like, and there may be comments to this that may agree, there may be people who disagree, but I think that in the end, if you and a friend, 2 people, random people sit down to play, if both people leave that table having fun, if both people leave the table going, man, that was a close one, I almost had you, I'll get you next time, bro, like that kind of feeling, you both got something tangible out of that. If one person leaves that table thinking, that guy was rude. What an ass. That game was worthless. Why did I even show up? And the other person's like, ha, that was easy. GG noob. Like that kind of thing. Like one person got something and the other one had something taken and their time was wasted, you know? So I encourage you guys, when you're list building, be an ambassador for the community. Be the gamer you would want to play. Take a step back when you feel like you might be being too serious and think about what that other person's going through, how their experience is, and try. And one of the things that and again, it's just hard, but one of the things I do is I try and find little things to like compliment my opponent, or talk about during the game to relieve some tension. Like, I specifically like to look at their minis and ask questions, you know, while they're playing, like why they choose what they chose, what does this represent to them, you know, names, things like that, because we get a conversation going, and I feel like that helps a little bit with getting us engaged about the minis and the story, and helps pull us a little bit away from the focal point of just winning. So I don't know if that resonates with you guys. Again, sound off in the comments below and let me know what you think. I intended to show these minis off some more and talk about it, and I just kind of got going. This may have been more of a podcasty kind of format with me just talking, but I'm very passionate about wanting people in the community to have fun and have a good time. And I hope that this resonates with you. I hope that you have those experiences, and I hope that if you listen to this and you think, man, I might not be that fun to play against, that you make some changes and you try, right? I hope that you guys have fun experiences. I hope that you encourage people to get into the game and want to come back and play. I hope that in general, you leave the world a better place than you found it. Like the gaming world is the same way, you know? So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Sound off in the comments below if you agree, you disagree, or anything in between. Hit that like, subscribe button if you want to see some more content. If you're looking to pick up anything Battletech related, check out fortressminiaturesandgames.com. We'll have a link in the description below. If you're looking to pick up some terrain, anything at all for Battletech terrain or 40K stuff tech, check out deathraydesigns.com, company that I work for. On that note, folks, thank you guys for hanging out with me today. I hope you enjoyed. As always, keep painting your models, keep rolling your dice, and I'll catch you guys next time.